Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I am your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we're live on a Saturday morning ready to do some feedback. Find us everywhere you get feedback. The official weapon of the show is the
Folding chair.
and the unofficial sport is the
Football.
ball extreme as well. Of course, it's a feedback show. It's a show about what you had to say, about what we had to say throughout the week. We just, want to let you guys know that you're heard, that you're understood, that you're listened to. The same way that when you guys reply to us, it lets us know that you're listening to us and you're hearing what we're saying. And it's such a beautiful symbiosis that we all have here. There are many ways to do talking to the show. Okay. You got emails, we got voicemails, the voicemail lines in the show notes. You got, of course, comments that you can leave on our website, votes you can have in the poll. There's just a ton of ways to
reach us,
holler at us. Okay, so we want to go ahead and say thank you to all those people.
Yes,
and
sir.
Some people don't even have nothing to say. They just come to the website, theblackguywhotips.com. They look on the right-hand side, and there's a little button on the side that says, would you like to donate to the show? Would you just like to give us some money? That's it. Like, here's some money for y'all, because I just like what you do.
I like what you
and
do.
The only thing we do is give them a shout-out.
Yay!
And that's exactly what we're about to do with this segment.
Turn your phone sideways if it's Apple, because for some reason, if you go straight up to Apple, be like, you turn it sideways, you be able to see that button
on our website.
On the website.
All right. Donation time.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's Own Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tied to the Black Guy Who Tips.
New money in the bank. New thanks. Tom W. Jr. Appreciate you. David from Brooklyn. Sorry about your Knicks. Michael. Thank you very much, Michael S. Dana R. Julian N. We got a one-time donation from Christoph R. Thank you, Christoph. Bomane Jones from the Right Time Podcast. Noel W. Laura E. Pete B. Johanna M. Douglas R. Laura F. And finally, Chris from Hawaii. Aloha to you too. All right, people gave us 5-star reviews as well.
Yeah, I like the 5-star reviews. They actually mean a lot to us. If you're in the United States, outside the United States, we don't know, Apple is doing its own thing. If you leave one, take a snapshot and send it to us, I guess we'll read it like that until we can get that. But go into Apple, and you know what, nowadays, I know some people are like, I don't like Apples. Guess what? You don't even have to use any Apple device. You can just create an account and leave us a 5-star review. We thank you.
Yeah, they have it on the internet on your browser. You can go to Apple Podcast and leave us a review from the web. So thank you. Love y'all. This is from Johnny 5/6 at night. Equal 0.833.
Are you still alive?
I feel like whatever I just did there is
you put out a code.
The code to something.
Yes, you see, Johnny 5 is alive now. See,
I just activated some sort of fail-safe device somewhere.
Somebody's computer or something just went crazy and they don't know why.
Yeah, John Wick's gonna let me into an underground club. I don't know. Anyway, Rod and Karen swimming in gratitude for y'all being beautiful models of love and authenticity. Prayer hands emojis, like a star or something, a bunch of emojis, heart emoji. Updating my review, been rocking with y'all for over 9 years now.
Ooh,
okay,
9.
Over 9 years. 9. We love to see it. Okay, 9 years is a long time.
It is.
I was thinking about that the other day. There was like a podcast award thing they had. It was like the Black Podcast Awards. Sign up. And I was thinking, like, I would sign up, but those one, it costs money to sign up. Like that's how they get you. Is you sign.
That's how they get you.
You pay money and then you get considered to possibly be nominated. We signed up for like NAACP awards. We didn't even get like considered. It kind of ends up being like whoever the popular people are, which makes sense. I mean,
yep, makes sense.
It makes sense. Like Jamel Hill's doing a podcast. You know her name. If her podcast is a year old, it's still Jamel fucking Hill. Like you're going,
the truth.
You're gonna put her as a nominee. You would like people to know about sport, put her out. You like her to be there. It gives you more credo if she wins it. You know, like, and I'm just saying Jamel Hill, but it's literally everybody. It's, you know, we're like any celebrity podcast, any like corporate sponsored podcast, majorly backed podcast. It just makes sense for them to like be there and do their thing, you know. But I don't know if you're gonna find podcasts that have been doing it longer than us.
Very few, yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna find black podcasts specifically that have been doing it longer than us. Maybe there are, but and still doing it.
And currently doing it. Yeah, people have been doing it for a while, but a lot of people have stopped doing it and no longer are doing it. But people who have started before us and continually to put out new episodes on a consistent basis to today, it is very, very few.
And someone has said, and it's the Black Podcast Awards, you know, and so somebody has said something like, you know, because I was like, man, I don't think I could. I said my heart would be broken a little bit to submit to an award and not even get nominated for something that we've been doing longer than everybody else. And it was funny. I was like, I don't know who else has even been doing as long as us. And people were bringing up names, and I was like, no, they haven't.
Yeah, we've been doing it longer than them. Yeah, like, it's like you name them, and I will look you, and I'll be like, yep, longer than them, and them too. And
it's crazy.
Too, and them too, yes. And they've been around for a very long time. A lot of podcasts have, but some people you go, yeah, we were doing it before they started.
So it's just kind of a wild thing. Like, at least for black podcasts, I feel like we're, you know, and someone said in the comments, it was like, y'all should be like presenting an award or getting like a Hall of Fame or something, like induction. I was like, if it feel like it, you know, but that's the thing. Keep chugging along and maybe you get recognized, maybe you don't. You don't want to let that stuff validate or invalidate you, but it's still one of those things where I do look at it and go, huh, you know, maybe never for us. Karen B. Knowin is the next one from Croft Act, who says, I just love you both. Heart face emoji with the little hearts all around it. Thank you. We appreciate you.
I be knowing.
Love you back.
I be knowing something.
All right, let's get into the actual episodes. We did 4 this week. On the blackguywhotips.com, you can leave comments. You can vote in the polls. Of course, on YouTube, we also post them there, and you can leave comments and vote in the polls there, or leave comments there. No vote in the polls, obviously. 3097, looking for a Jenny Thomas was the title. 6 comments. Appia says, I said the things about houses because I heard the expression starter house, and I didn't know what it was. We don't have it here, or is that just what you call your former house in retrospect? Yeah, it's what you call your former house in retrospect. The reason that that's interesting is that I would not consider that like a taboo thing. Like it may be aspirational or something like that to like, this is our starter house, but that's something you're telling yourself like, one day I'll make it big and I'll have another house. But is, you know, the idea of like only having one house being a bad thing, that's not a bad thing. That's not what people say. And the reality in America has changed so much that starter house as a concept isn't necessarily what it used to be.
Nope, not anymore.
A lot of people are like, you wouldn't, like, put it this way, if it takes you till you're 40 years old to get a house, you're not calling it your starter house.
No, you're not.
But the old school American dream of like, you turn 21, you graduate college, you get married, you get a starter house, you have 2.5 kids, you earn more, and by the time you're like 40, 45 or so, you're buying a new house because everything has worked out for you so perfectly in this American dream.
Right.
It was always a fallacy of, anyway, it wasn't always happening for most people, but more importantly, that dream is not what it used to be anymore. So now people will be just fortunate to get a house, let alone a multiple houses along the path of their lives. It's not impossible, but it's just not considered a given. And it's not really frowned upon in the circles I've seen. Like, it may be in some elite circles or white circles or money circles.
Right.
There might be people that look down on people that just, oh, you only have the house you first got. But in general, I don't know anybody that thinks like that.
Agreed. And it's also for most, I can speak for my experience dealing with a lot of black people. For most black people, normally the first house they buy is normally the house they keep, and they normally pass it down to their children. You know, some actually do move, but it's not like they move in 2 and 3 times. Most might move one time into something a little bit bigger or something like that. But yeah, it's not frowned upon because most people in America actually want ownership. In a home in this particular country is considered a form of ownership.
Entropy Cleophas Peachtree Esquire says, I've been having trouble leaving a 5-star review, which feels like shorting you since y'all are actually on a 5-star scale, a 37-star podcast, which with tariffs, inflation, and cryptocurrency exchange rates means I actually owe y'all 17,792 stars. Aww. So do y'all have a star rep I can talk to, like my Sally Mae loan officer, or do y'all do an old school like layaway and I just put something on it when I got it? Layaway. Either way, keep bringing the insight, the laughter, the positivity, y'all adult. Thank you, Entropy Cleophas Peach Squad.
We believe in layaway over here.
I love your screen name. Rona Raphael says this episode was on my birthday, May 17th. Such a great day. So I had to declare the day off for my favorite podcasters and had my Ravens deliver the message. 3GO took the day off. Then I realized that Rod wouldn't open his windows for no Ravens, so y'all missed my message. Now, why did I use Ravens instead of orcas? Because I just unlocked new powers relating to birds, and they respond to me. I'll reveal my new name in premium. By the way, Dre, your voicemails are great. Knicks winning, sundresses are out, vampires asking politely. Mission Impossible 8 is here. A toast of hibiscus, Zobo, and Sorrel to the best podcast in the world. Thanks, Rona. Happy birthday.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Sean says, I think we mostly agree on Maher. In the 90s, he was passable on some social issues. Decent or good, it's just a matter of degree. But he has devolved into a wretch. Yeah, and I just think that's like, obviously I'm not here to cape for fucking Bill Maher. I just think that if anything, maybe I'm harder on him because what I'm saying is there was a time when he was not as bad as he is now.
Right.
And I find what he is now to be just so reprehensible and morally indefensible and hypocritical. I don't understand how anybody is still fucking with him. I just don't. And there was a time when I did understand, like, oh, you go on this platform. Yes, you're going to disagree about some things. You're going to agree about others. But this is not simply a right-wing platform in disguise. It's right. Actually like trying to be neutral or fair on some issues. So, you're not going to agree. And there's no such thing, obviously, as neutral and fair. But he was trying to be open, open to these different opinions. But he's not that anymore.
Nope, and there was a period of time for those of you that are around long enough where the Republicans wouldn't be fuck with him.
Yeah, in a recent interview, he also and those are the Republicans before these MAGA Republicans, and they wouldn't fuck with him.
Right.
Like it's just very interesting, like watching him be the guy he is now. So that's the whole thing, and I get it. Some people, it's just how hate works for different people. Some people's hate is like they was never shit, they never was gonna be shit, they would have, and they think that that's the most like virulent way to show like somebody is just like a terrible person. And I feel you on that. Sometimes maybe I even feel that way, but I think what is more damning to me is always to point out the slope.
Yeah,
to be like
an evolution of a decline.
Because to me, this shows right from wrong.
Yes,
you didn't always believe this bullshit, so you made a conscientious choice to be the Bill Maher of today, the guy who capitulates to Trump. That's who you decided to be. So yeah, it mattered. But he has devolved into a wretch. In a recent interview, he also revealed he is incapable of 69, and so he is now bad at politics, bad at comedy, and bad at sex. If he was any worse of a human being, Republicans might run him for president. Well, we're probably 3 sexual assault accusations away from that.
Oh no!
If he wouldn't have paid the black prostitutes, he would have been president. Talking about reprehensible human beings, this title of this episode made me chuckle, which was Looking for Jenny Thomas. EVE says, you are so wrong for this poll, because the poll is, do you think Jason Whitlock be having sex? You are so wrong for this poll. Who wants to picture Jason Whitlock fucking? He's so insufferable. I know he is probably as trash in bed as he is a human being. Gross. Well, someone wrote in last week about how whatever white girl he be having sex with, and I thought it was you that wrote in and said that. So you put it in my head first. Whoever said that. If it wasn't you, whoever did write in to be like, and whatever woman Jason Whitlock be having sex with, you put it in my head and now it's in everyone's head. So blame yourself. Abia says, not me. I have never seen this man in my life and know him only from here. Now I have a stay strong and never Google him. All right, good luck. Mm-hmm. The comments on YouTube, C Brown just left a Black Power fist emoji. Joe says at 13:55 I laughed so much when you mentioned Jeannie Thomas. Said 4202, your take on all these people complaining about Biden was perfect and what I needed to hear. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Joseph says, I'm real tired of David Hogg, and every other leftist and progressive who constantly complain about the Democrats but don't never put up no candidates. Right. Where are the people who y'all like, since y'all don't like running ours? None of ours. Are y'all grooming them? Are y'all working on their campaigns? The mayor of Chicago is progressive. Do y'all like him? What is your plan? And where are your candidates? Stop complaining and give us some solutions like Rod and Karen said. Yeah, and like the thing that's funny is I don't think you'll find people that truly disagree with their like the general idea of like, hey, we wouldn't mind some younger Democrats. Oh no, I want all my Democrats. Oh, like no. Mm-hmm. But do the work. You're here telling me on Twitter, but you're elected. Right. Do the fucking work. God, why are you even telling me your plan? I'm gonna be real with you. Why aren't just progressives popping up in these districts and we're being like, oh, did you know so-and-so is in a primary challenge with this up-and-coming young progressive person that we had not heard of until recently, but that person has been doing boots on the ground work in that community and seems to be very popular. That's how AOC got on. AOC went door to door. She put her fucking shoes on and went out there and got a ground campaign, and next thing you know, she was primary some fool, and we was like, oh shit, AOC is the new congresswoman. Just do that. I don't even like at this point telling us on the internet feels like a weird sort of like you still want likes and retweets and attaboys as opposed to like go do the work. So I don't mind the idea. I know some people are averse to this, but I'm not. I'm with it. Primary people if you want to. I don't give a fuck. Only thing I don't care about is if you do lose, shut the fuck up about it. That's it. I don't, other than that, do whatever you want to. I just don't want a bunch of these motherfuckers primary people. Then when they lose, it was rigged. It was stolen. Why? Just step down. You're old. Go beat them. If they old, that's a better reason to be able to beat them, right? They can't get on the ground like you can. Outwork them, young fella. Show me some hustle. So I ain't with that shit. But yeah, I agree with us. Go do the work. J Full says, I'm worse than Karen about the official weapon of the show.
I see I ain't alone.
I can mentally tell myself it's a folding chair beforehand, but when Rod says it on the show, I say taser in my head. Alicia Nicole says, me too. I still yelling taser. I feel you. It's tough, guys.
I pick a taser over a bullet any day, but prefer neither.
Do you think Jason Whitlock be having sex? 18% say yes. 82% say no. I wonder. He never talks about having sex. He's now trying to be a new Christian man, even though he used to be up in the strip clubs and shit. But that all feels like part of the grift. So of course, who knows what's real with that guy. All right, let's get to the next episode. But first, a beat. How about Tomorrow by DJ Jaffa? Oh yeah, someone said we should tell people to like and subscribe if we're following on YouTube. I think we do with one of the videos, the intro, the outro video and stuff. But yeah, maybe I'll just make. I'll try to remember to mention it during the recording, guys. Sorry about that. And thank you, Nicole, for that note.
Thank you.
3098, burn, baby, burn. Let's see. We had 6 comments. Appia left the first. People going after Biden now, a man who stepped down and doesn't hold an office should be ashamed of themselves. And this is my opinion even before the diagnosis.
Right.
He is a decent man, isn't running around hating racism. Reading about this book makes me actively mad. For what? But I know for what. As Rod said, people voted for Donald Trump, and it's hard to face the fact that they chose hate because they liked the message. Of course, blame Biden. Yeah, and honestly, man, Jake Tapper has been doing this press tour. And I don't even know if I saved the article, but I think I posted it on my Facebook. But he was recently talking to he's promoting the book. He's recently talking about like the reason he did this book, blah blah. And so he says a liberal podcaster made a racism jab after he revealed his son wants to be a cop. And he says, "This is why you fuckers are losing elections." That's not an unbiased man. That's a man who is that like a lot of these fragile ass white people. They got hit with one thing. Who knows what it was? But suddenly now it's fuck the Democratic Party. Y'all should lose. My son is now 15 years old and he's a gamer. He's a football fan, starting linebacker on his varsity football team. The Democratic Party has no way of communicating with him. They have no entry into his world. He said, what does that mean?
What does it mean?
What does that mean? How do they have no way of entry into his world? Because he plays video games. He's a football fan. What does that mean?
Right.
Only Republicans can do that. He says he visited podcasts, blah, 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 to promote his book. He said their joke was about my 15-year-old son. Oh, how does he feel about minorities? Like the idea he wants to be a policeman before he's racist, my son. And that was the big laugh. And then I got dragged in the comments and all that stuff. And I thought to myself, this is why you fuckers are losing elections. The person he was talking to, who was it? Alex Thompson and Scott Galloway of the Prof G Pod was like 100% agreeing with him. Tapper argued terms like toxic masculinity are thrown at young men who have worlds that don't center on politics. He's 15. He thinks about World War II and gaming and playing linebacker. That's his world. So my point is Jake Tapper is not some unbiased agent in this. Like in his mind, his hurt feelings over something like people saying there's racism in policing or making a joke at his son's expense is tantamount to or equal to this is why Trump is going to win. And that's the message that all these people are sending. Hey, if you're going to stand up for anybody who is not just straight up white men, then you deserve to lose. That's it. Like if you're going to ever look at me and say no or disagree, you deserve to lose. And that's trash.
Yep, and I said this before, and I will say it again. It's not the same, but to me, it's a comparison. They've done this shit for a long time, but I think Barack Obama and social media is where people were the loudest about the quote unquote do something, and Barack Obama is like that lightning rod. Even to today, people still go back to Barack Obama. It's because whenever you put that name on the post, put that name in the headline, put that name anywhere, people click, people subscribe, people look, people, it's a debate, it's a discussion, no matter how ridiculous it is, it's because you said their name. And I think that people are starting to do the same thing to Biden because they just want somebody to blame. And on top of that, I think that it's an attention getter for a lot of people. And a lot of people, they assume, like this person that wrote this book on this tour, that the Democrats were going to win, whoever the Democratic person was. So they wrote this book, and if a Democratic would have won, they could have still been shitting on them, and everything would have been all right, but they lost.
Yeah,
and
I just don't know
who. Problem.
Yeah, I don't know who that audience is going to be, because the kind of people that really were like supporting Democrats and voting for Kamala Harris do not want to read this book about why you think Joe Biden, who is no longer the candidate, who did step down like y'all told him to,
Yep.
They don't want to hear the post-mortem on that. I think they're mostly sad and upset with the state of the world right now, and they're actually wishing people would do their job and keep the focus on Trump and try to do something to hold him accountable. So I don't think people are, I don't know who the audience is, and right-wing people don't want to hear this shit either, because there's information silo is so filled with disinformation and lies. I don't know that they're like, oh yes, investigative reporting is what I needed to know about what exactly happened with Biden. Many of them are just like, we'll take the fuel and the ammunition of this press run to be like, fuck Biden and keep the pressure off of Trump. But in general, we don't care about the fucking details of a whole fucking book. We just wanted to call him old and feeble-minded and get enough people to not want to vote for him, because we don't care about those issues, or we wouldn't have voted for Trump. So like, caring if he can stay on topic or whatever, or if he says lies, like mistakes and all that, we don't actually care. Corruption and his son, and we don't actually care, because we wouldn't have voted for Trump if we care. So I don't know what that book feels like. It's not gonna be well received, but
no,
whatever.
And also another reason why I don't think it's gonna be well received, because if it was doing well, he wouldn't be telling us what the fuck a podcast said to him. Like a lot of this stuff is like distractions. Somebody looking at them numbers and
this feels like a pivot to the more center or right to me. Because when you say this podcast told me this, and I said that's why the Democrats are gonna lose, and they're going 100%, brother, amen. Who are you talking to?
Right.
Because if you were talking to a liberal podcast or progressive podcast, like, unless they were those like super, like Hassan, whatever his name is, like those are super progressive, most people would be like, wait, what do you mean? So the Democrats are going to lose because you couldn't take a fucking joke? Like, but maybe he's gonna have to pitch his book to more of those type of people. Like, maybe this is a book for the extreme right, extreme left. Like, it's Joe Biden's fault. Everything is on him. Maybe that's what they're gonna do.
Wow, apparently so.
Anyway, she says The Weeknd is also one of the artists. Same with Drake. I tried to listen to, but got bored every time after 1 minute, and my mind drifted away. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't really want. I'm not trying to shit on the dude, but it's just not for me. He has a new song that it be on the radio sometimes when in my car when I listen to Sirius, and it's called like lie to you or something. It's just like the lyrics are so weak, and then the message of the song isn't that good, and the singing isn't that good. It's just, I'm like, I don't understand. Yeah, it's rather lie, I guess. I just don't understand. Good for him though.
Yeah, it's somebody's cup of tea.
I'm not rooting against him, but I just, when I hear his music, I don't feel pretty much anything. I'm just like, oh, okay then. Good luck to you. Oh, his album's 30 songs long. Whew.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. But that's how they say beat. The fuck we doing here?
Yeah. Oh no. I'm sorry. That's Playboy Cardi's song. Maybe that's the one I heard. Maybe that's what Rather Lie is Playboy Cardi. Anyway, good luck to that man. You know what I'm saying? I have nothing bad to say about him. I just don't think he's for me.
Right, and that's kind of the end of it for me too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Rather Lie seems to be a Playboy Cardi song. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd rather lie than to lose you, girl. I'd rather lie than confuse you, girl. That doesn't even make sense. A lie is confusing her. Truth is, we lapped them. They want us gone. Truth is, they can't handle me at the top. Yeah, it's just corny. Anyway, Shoe Booty says Savannah Bananas are like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. Their games look so fun. I wanted tickets to that too, but couldn't score any.
Yeah, the tickets are hard to get and they're super expensive. I want to go see them eventually too, because everybody that has seen them and heard about them and stuff said that they are a ball to play. They sell like football stadiums. Like that's why I was saying when you said Savannah Banana and the people had to close, I know somebody was shedding tears. All that money.
Ernest.com says, I count myself as a Weeknd fan, and Rod, I couldn't be happier for you that you don't get his music. It activates the same parts of my brain as Glenn Frey's, You belong to the city. In my opinion, it's music for sad, lonely, depressed people with no prospects for a healthy, loving relationship.
Oh no.
The fact that you don't get the Weeknd's music seems like a good sign for you and Karen, and I love listening to y'all and how much you love and enjoy each other. I imagine the way I feel about y'all not being into the Weeknd is akin to the feeling y'all have when you don't pull L Joy into Guess the Race. Get on away from here. You gonna be somebody.
You're right. You gonna be somebody. Don't be slumming it with us.
Thanks for the show. Shout out to the chat room. Thanks, Ernest. That's a great point. Sean says on the train, Japanese public transport for the win. On the way home from work with a coworker once, we looked over and saw a guy finger banging his girlfriend.
Oh no.
It was awkward, but not call the cops awkward. They kept the blanket over them, so we didn't see any pixelation or anything. So why call? Yeah, I wouldn't call the police on that.
Yeah, I see pixelation. I got to call.
Yeah, if anything, I'd be like, oh, it does happen.
So it's not just in my imagination.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've seen
everything is blurry. Okay,
I've seen pornographic documentaries of people banging on the train, but I've never witnessed it myself. Sean says, as I always say to Bernie supporters, if you're feeling the burn, you may want to put some Obamacare on that. EVE says, New Orleans seems to be going through it with all this misfortune lately. The burning down of the plantation seems to be the tip of the iceberg. Apparently, the real life doll Annabelle was moved to New Orleans, and all this stuff started happening.
Oh no!
Like the plantation and Mary Laveau's house burning down, and 10 inmates escaping. 3 are still on the loose. They're going to have to get rid of that cursed doll.
Oh, that happened down there? Yeah, they was like, they still at large. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, that was a weird story for me. I didn't feel like covering it because, like, I know people was trying to be funny with it, but I don't know what them people did. So it's like, I don't want to make light of the shit, and then turns out like 12 people were murdered, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess maybe they was in jail for a reason. I don't know. So I just let that play out. Comments on YouTube. We got 8 comments on YouTube for this episode. Huh. That's interesting. I have no idea why.
Nope. Y'all had something to say.
Donatio says Bernie is full of it. When he ran the first time, I listened to what he had to say and I voted for Hillary. Then he ran the second time, I listened to what he had to say and I voted for Biden. He did not win me over. There were better candidates. These Democratic presidential wannabes can keep playing with the right if they want to. They will lose me. CPJ Morgan says you are 100% right about Bernie. He never understood black people, what black voters needed. Oh yeah, so that's why people responded, because of Bernie. Got it. Yeah, it's funny. I mostly do not talk about Bernie because after I talked about him when I made that joke, Bernie so black, and we had like a year of the podcast where I was talking about him, felt like almost every day because his fans would write in and be like, explain it again. And then I got harassed and people were, being very weird towards me online, and it was crazy. We had a crazy lady that like was in our Facebook group that ended up being like Hillary Clinton is a pedophile and tagging me after Bernie lost, and I think after Hillary lost it. And she had been acting nice and sweet before then, but she just turned into like a fucking crazy person at the end. And I was like, whatever this shit is, I'm not here for this.
Right.
So like, I'm not letting y'all drive me crazy because y'all are crazy for this man.
Right.
Good luck to y'all, but I'm not the reason he wins or loses. I just have an opinion, and I just happen to think he's not as good a candidate as you think he is. The same way you probably feel about Hillary Clinton or Obama or Biden or whoever. I'm not harassing you.
Right.
So let's just nip that shit in the bud. P Sweet Jr. says Bernie ain't never been beating the allegations of him and his movement being racist and misogynist and steeped with white grievance. How can a primary be rigged if you lost by almost 4 million votes in 2016 and then 10 million votes in 2020? Mind you, he had more money than both Clinton and Biden. So you can't use outside establishment money as an excuse like Nina Turner did when she lost while having more money in her primary. Bernie has been a weight on the Democrats for years because he won't correct lies. Yeah, I'm honestly very I'm very disgusted that he let Andrew Schultz say that and didn't correct it. And I just think that says it shows a weakness in Bernie Sanders' character, because I really would have respected, and I'm not moving the goalposts. I mean this like I'm not even joking. I would have respected him tremendously if he corrected him and said, no, it wasn't stolen from me. I did lose. That's okay. Like, this is part of the process, and I endorsed her because I believed in her over Trump. And that's part of the process. Because what these motherfuckers fail to realize, and Bernie included, you can't say Trump is a threat to democracy while also denigrating democracy and acting like Democrats are a threat to democracy. That's not what's happening. Let's be real about what's happening. If we can be honest about what's happening, fine. But every single place when in a state like mine, purple state that Republicans are trying to turn red, every single place when it comes to voting and my right to live in a democracy, it is Democrats who are fighting for that.
Right.
It's never Republicans. Republicans are always putting obstacles for me to vote. Right. So how fucking dare you lie? How dare you sit and let that man sit in your face and pretend while you pandered to him? You weak motherfucker. You are so weak for that. Because you don't need to do that, man. If you're going to be president, you should be president in a way that you can stand up to people. That's it. Like, you can say whatever you want to about Joe being old and feeble and blah, blah, blah. End of the day, the man stood for something.
Right.
You say some bullshit in his face, he will sit up there and correct it. He gonna, and it can look awkward, it can look bad, people, he shouldn't have did, but he got principles. And that shit does matter. You need that. You can't just be like, today I'm in front of this audience, I'm going to agree with everything they think. Today I'm in front of that audience, I'm going to agree with everything they think.
There's no consistency.
A thing that I really think I see as strength that other people see as weakness, but whenever a Democrat is at a event and they get heckled by somebody that is more progressive or they have like one cause and that's all they care about, I appreciate when they go, A, let them talk, and B, when they give an answer and they still don't just capitulate to whatever the fuck that person wanted. Because it means something. If you have policies and you thought about them and you talk to people, you don't just change on a whim because a motherfucker in the crowd yelled at you.
Right.
So if the cause is hey man, I want to abolish police, I don't want you to turn around and go, yeah, abolish police, yeah, whatever y'all say today, and then I'll go back to my meeting and I'm gonna go do whatever fuck I was gonna do in the first place. No, you go, well, this is what my plan is. That's integrity. So yeah, anyway, man, whatever, Bernie. Hugh says, before anyone says the system is rigged by the elites and makes it impossible for unknown candidates to beat establishment politicians, I'd like to introduce Barack Hussein Obama. Yes. And you know what's funny? Barack Hussein Obama was an outsider who no one gave a chance of beating Hillary Clinton, who everyone thought was jumping his turn. And actually people were mad at him at the beginning, including black people.
Mm-hmm.
Because black people are not just voting for race, you fucking ignoramuses.
Right.
We're voting for candidates and policies, people we trust, people that have made inroads in the community. And at that time, the Clintons had done more in the black community in America, good or bad. They had been around for a lot longer than we knew Barack Hussein Obama, who was a young up-and-coming person coming out of Chicago, who had given a great speech at the DNC. But other than that, we did not really know that brother.
Nope.
And a lot of us thought he had no chance to win because look at his name and he's black. That was it.
Yeah, and a lot of people endorsed Hillary, and it made sense.
And my point being, the second he wins, as like one of the most popular presidents of all time, ran one of the best campaigns of all time. The second he wins, he becomes the establishment to someone like Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
4 years later, Bernie wants to primary him. That man is not a good faith actor. And if democracy was rigged and the elites were picking and choosing who wins, Barack Obama would have never been fucking president.
Agreed.
That's just the way it is. You just sound like a sore loser with sour grapes. And you're old and it's too late. How come none of these progressives are telling his ass to sit the fuck down and shut up and move to the next person? Why aren't they going, hey, Nina Turner should be doing all these Bernie Sanders speaking tours? Like we heard enough from you, old man. Nah, it's just the other Democrats they want to sit down. The black ones and Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. You know, the ones that win races. The ones who actually have accomplishments. The ones who have legacies they can look back on and be like, I passed this, this, and this. What has Bernie done? Sit around and bitch for 40 fucking years. It's disgusting, man. And I'm fed up with it. I try to be nice about it for as long as I could be, but fuck that dude. Seriously. Damien says Bernie's wild as fuck. These motherfuckers crying about primaries. Schultz co-host is giving off part-time voter vibes. Your candidate not winning doesn't mean they didn't have a fair shot at winning. Bernie only has the ability to talk the talk. The walk is shaky though. And on another note, Rod, your shirt game is on another level. You always got on something nice. Thanks, buddy. You know, not enough people, I think, give me credit for my shirts. Okay.
He got some nice shirts.
I be out here trying to put on for the city.
He does.
And I just feel like it never gets recognized. And you know, and when I know the shirt game is nice though, because I remember I didn't even read this comment on the air. I deleted the person and blocked them from the channel, but they were trying to rile us up, so it was like a troll comment, and it felt like it was directed at me because they dissed Karen, and then they said my shirt game was basic, and I said, but these are lies.
I can't take you seriously,
sir. If you're gonna insult me, I mean, you might as well have been like, hey, I noticed that y'all were albinos. Like, what? No, I'm not responding to that. My shirt game could never be basic. Not on the best day of your life. It could never be basic. Get out of here, buddy. If my shirt game is basic, it's because I chose to be basic that day. Like literally, like, oh, I'm gonna put on a hoodie with that. No, that's it. No, it's never. You can never touch the hem of my shirt game. Liberian Bana says, when you said Bernie is the first Trump, it really clicked for me. I can never quite articulate my distaste for him, but you laid it out so well. Thank you for giving voice to many folks who I'm sure see the same quality in him, but could not quite articulate that parallel. Yeah, I think it's another reason that a lot of his like ardent supporters have no problem sliding over into MAGA territory. Like that should be an insane thing. For if you are believing in the progressive liberal ideas of Bernie Sanders and you're angry that America doesn't want progress bad enough, you should not been, and I'm thinking of someone in particular, a comedian, you should not go from Bernie to I am now anti-trans MAGA person.
Right.
That should never be able to happen because your dogma, your politics, and your karma, and your ideals and your morals and your ethics should make you stop and be like, well, no, obviously just because Bernie didn't win, I don't now agree that we should be, like Black lives don't matter. Police are always right. Trans people, then you were just angry.
Yep.
And Bernie is good at responding to anger. I remember reading the book, The Cruelty is the Point by Adam Serwer. And I remember I highlighted this portion in the Kindle, and he was talking about the correlation of anger in politics to racism. And the point he made was it doesn't matter which side of the spectrum you're on. Anger in American politics is always correlated with racism, meaning whether it's anger from the liberal people or anger, and obviously white people, right? Anger from liberal white people or anger from conservative white people. The racism and anger is like hand in hand. And it just, so when you have a politician pushing anger, and this is when it really made sense to me. It makes sense that Bernie pushes anger. That's why people do support him, is because we should be angry about what's happening in our country. And I definitely agree. And he resonates with people on that level of like, yes, this makes me angry. But it also makes sense why he don't want to talk about race. When he does talk about anything race, it's never specific. It's always like, and of course we should, always not be racist or whatever. It's like, yeah, but you were very specific about like the policies we need to do to get the billionaires out of here. But when it comes to the policies to get the racists out of here, it's like, oh, of course we should just agree to not do that. Okay, buddy. Okay. All right. You don't sound as angry.
You do not.
You not sound as forceful. You sound very forceful about Wall Street, but not very forceful about Martin Luther King Street. Okay. Jason says, boy, it sure didn't take much for Schultz to get Bernie out of his shirt. All he had to do was say his primary was rigged and Bernie started showing feet. And of course, Bill Maher's podcast would fail. Liberals most certainly wouldn't have time for it. And MAGA wouldn't want that stepped on bigotry. Right. Yeah. You're not even selling like that uncut pure cocaine bigotry over there. Andrew Schultz. Bill Maher. They can they can tap a real vein.
Yeah. Yeah. Why would they take your fake stuff?
Yeah. They want the real bigotry. They want that blue magic bigotry. They want that Proposition Joe package bigotry. For MAGA, watching Maher would be like jerking off to YouTube. That's funny. All right. The poll was plantation burning down. That's sad or yay?
Yay.
Very rarely happens, but 100% of people said yay. 18% of y'all think Jason Whitlock be beating cakes. But 0 of y'all said, nah, I can't even understand how that would be bad in any world that plantation burned down. Good for y'all. We appreciate you. 3099 RG3 crying over spilled milk. We had 3 comments. Sean says 2 for gender wars, 1 point for each person it got. Yeah, that was a bad one. I'm still convinced that was Charlotte Douglas.
It was South Park. Well, that says that South Park Mall.
Yeah. Appia. Matter of fact, I saw a video this morning from somebody got their car towed at Walmart at Whitehall.
Oh no!
And I was like, I think that's the Walmart that I went to that day. Like, I think it's the Walmart. Like, it look now. Look, a lot of Walmarts look alike, and I'm sure there's more than one Whitehall in America. But damn it, if I didn't think that was it. And the reason I'm saying that is that South Park, I'm sure there's more than one South Park mall in the world, but a combination of how that airport looked and then saying South Park, I was like, that shit is Charlotte Douglas.
Come on, International Airport.
Yeah. Abia says, I always forget that there was a prize in the Fugees. I think about the 2 main members and I see a shadow of a third in my head, but that's it. Luckily, this podcast keeps reminding me. Wow, that's messed up. What did prize ever do to you? I mean, unless you needed some influence on American politics and you happen to be a foreign national, which I don't know, maybe Big Pharma was trying to get into it. I don't know. It's funny because he said he was a ghetto superstar, and we're all like, if this man delivered me a pizza, I could not pick him out of a lineup.
But I thank you, sir. Here's your tip, and shut it on his face.
Yeah. I'm like Buju Banton. I just remember they gave him the 3rd verse on all the songs because they knew we was ready to skip. We was like, okay, Wyclef rapped, Lauren rapped. Oh, we can wrap this bad boy up. Let's go to the next track. See what's going on that one. None of us, I've never heard anybody quote a prize bar. And I've been alive and loving hip hop a long time, and I have 0 people that are like, yo, remember when Prize said? Nah, that's crazy. Anyway, RG3 is the saddest of coons, says EVE. Most of the time, he doesn't stand 10 toes down in his coonery. The way he props up his white woman has become his entire personality. I just know some little black girl in grade school called him ugly in grade school, and he decided to make it everyone's problem. Maybe. I don't even know what happened to him, man. I don't know. Because I feel like we be low-key giving them an excuse with that shit. But you right. Maybe that's what happened. I guess I'm not prone to want to even advertise stuff like that because it makes it seem like it's not their fault. Like at the end of the day, it's some little black girl's fault. She just never knew. She just called him ugly, and he turned out to be, a black hating man that we just don't. So I don't even want to give them that, but maybe that's what happened. They always had that excuses or origin story. I just don't like giving it to them. And of course, even if it would be true, it's that what's the hotel man name? Why can't I draw donations? Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on this name? And obviously Karen doesn't know it either. Dr. Umar.
Yes.
It's that thing Dr. Umar said when they're like, what black girls called me ugly when I was a kid, and he's like, and the white girls called you beautiful? And I'm like, right. Because who are the ugly black men that white women can't wait to get with? Come on, man.
Right.
Get out of here, man. Don't stop lying to me. If you're obsessed with that whiteness, then just be obsessed with it.
Right. Nobody's stopping you.
But don't be making it our fault. It's not our business. It's not our fault. And honestly,
take me out the group chat.
I'm not in the interracial couple haters group. That ain't for me. I don't care if people are interracially married or whatever. I think it's weird when people do care. But if you have some weird pathology and keep making it our fucking business, well, now I care just because you were fucking with my piece. It's not about...
Right. I was minding my
I wasn't
business.
walking down the street looking at RG3 with his wife and going, oh my God, what a coon. Like, you just keep antagonizing black women for no fucking reason. Why? Just Go be with your wife. Stop telling us that it's about her being white and she's milk and snow and whatever other white thing you went to. Like, that's a weird thing to do.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
That gender wars are so staged, but I think a lot of accounts are doing these kind of skits to get engaged because people usually fall for it. Yeah, I had one that I think we did on here. Oh wait, we did that other one, the classroom one.
Yeah, that was terrible. That grown ass.
They're getting so bad, and like real stuff do be happening. Like I saw a woman who was a flight attendant, and she was on a plane, and she was twerking on the plane, and then she got fired supposedly. Okay. It looked real, but then that same woman who did the classroom video, she was twerking in the classroom with a white woman, and then was like, this teacher got fired from her job as the caption. And I was like, damn, you stole.
Where is your chalkboard, your whiteboard? Like, come on, you ain't got no erasers.
But you're just stealing real life scenarios and unique content that bad. OnlyFans person got fired. Shit, let me suck a dick on Facebook real quick. But yeah, I don't know if you all saw the Mother's Day videos of women posting that their husbands didn't get them anything for Mother's Day because they said their wives wasn't their mothers. Now that was some good gender war content. I did not see those, and I'm glad I missed it.
Me too.
But the fact that multiple people did it makes me feel like one person did it, it was a hit, and then everyone started copying the video. You know, I don't trust nothing no more.
Nope.
Like Karen was talking about one where, what was it, Pads and Wings? What was that video?
Yes. It's a video, and every time I see it, I fucking fall out laughing. There's these women, and it's like a series, and I guess they must have took them and combined them to one I saw, where women asked their like husbands, mates, significant others. They was like, bring me some pads with wings, and the dude brings a box of pads and a box of chicken wings, right? Yeah, like chicken wings, and the women are like, what's wrong with my husband? Why? Like, almost like, why is he so stupid?
And so you say you see it every time you see it, you stop. Is it it's different women every time?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. I don't even trust that. I do not trust that men genuinely go get pads and wings. I trust that content creators saw someone go viral with that very funny made up scenario, and then they all started doing it, and now people, you know, like EV will write in and be like, did you know all these men are just don't understand to get it's like, no, that's just content now. Right. Can't trust shit on the internet.
Right. And the way I seen it, I think they took the individual ones and smashed it into one.
Yeah.
So when I seen it was like boom,
which
boom,
lets
boom,
you
boom,
know
boom.
that it's content.
Okay.
Because how the fuck not everybody in the last week made the same mistake? No. So somebody got 4 million views, and then another person couldn't come up with any good ideas to do themselves, so they stole that person's idea, didn't give them any credit, and they got 2 million views, and they just happy to get the 2 million. And by the end, somebody's just happy to get 20 views, and we've seen 3 million of these fucking videos, and no man has ever bought pads before. It's just it's all content.
But it just cracks me up.
It is funny.
Time.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that it's not funny, but it is funny. It's just funny that the theft of it is the bullshit to me. JL right. Covan knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, JL is right. I agree with JL. You get in that algorithm and there's no original content, and when you do anything kind of original, the algorithm almost rejects it.
You're worried about AI stealing people's content. Y'all are stealing people's content.
Mm-hmm.
It's just being a better human than you are. It's faster at stealing people's shit and taking credit for it. Let's see. What happened to a good old fashioned retweet? YouTube. Right?
People don't even do that no more. I'm old. I'll still retweet.
YouTube. Inez just left 4 hearts. Joseph says he needs some milk. Laughing emoji. Nasty Knack says African porn do be hitting though. Nasty Knack, you know. You know, ball nasty.
It's in the name.
Okay. Only thing is sometimes I do feel like it be a little bit. It just depends on which African porn. Like it's one that's like Africa XXX, which is like very professionally done, and there's like I think it's made by Dorcel, the French company that does like all this different like that. Like it's good, but I'm just saying like that's very professional. At this point, I'm in the gutter with the African porn. I don't know what's what.
You don't know what you're getting.
It's the scenes end and it just be the middle of the scene. I'm like, what? That was it? Like I had my
they ran out of tape.
I have my dick in my hand. There's 30 seconds left. I don't think y'all are gonna get to a conclusion.
I don't think so.
The titles don't make sense. It just be like sugar mama has sex with neighbor's doorman or some shit like that, but they never allude to the scenario. It's still just two people having sex on a mattress. It's not like them saying like
setting up the sugar mama or something.
What, like he not in a doorman outfit or nothing. I don't understand. Maybe it's a language barrier thing. I don't know, but it could be cultural. Anyway, they look
hilarious.
They look the way they look amazing. They look good. That's all I watched them have sex anyway. Nate said it's not like I need the plot, but I'm just saying it would be nice. Then just name it two people having sex in a room. Like what? Why are y'all naming it? That anyway. Nate 2210 says great show guys. Rod, you are not alone. Dragonfly Jones said David was wild for that nipple to nylon outfit in the game. Right?
Oh no!
Why was he wearing that?
Oh no!
Also, jersey, no t-shirt under it at a public event feels very white coded. I don't think black people do that. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe someone got an example.
You normally have something else up, but you don't.
The only time I see black people with no t-shirt under a jersey out in public is to play basketball.
Yeah, when they're playing.
Yeah, like to either play in like a rec league, or then you have those really weird, crazy old black men that dress up like Michael Jordan and Kobe and go to the park. And those guys are just, we don't claim them. Those people are crazy.
They on another level.
I've been to parks before where a nigga pulled up in a full Bulls outfit, like it was gonna be like, and from out of North Carolina, 6'6",
yes,
starting like
starting lineup.
Like,
your Chicago Bulls.
I'm like, you are going to go 0 for 13, aren't you?
Yes, you are, and play no defense.
You are going to ruin
8 turnovers.
You're gonna ruin everyone's good time shooting a bunch of bricks over 2 people, right? RG3 took them 90s got milk ass way too seriously, says Casboy P. RG3's parents own that when he feels ashamed of himself, says Z Mom Hart. Infinity 2360 says one thing weirder than weirdos like RG3 are their weird non-black wives who go along with their ish. Both of them just a bunch of low self-esteem having ass birds who can't help themselves, but be unfunny and whack like the cornballs they are. Agreed. The girl on the other side of the road said how I didn't know this was happening. She said, and then also said all the African porn still can't say the name right. I don't even know what name it was. And 119. So I said something at the 119 minute mark. Let me see. 119.19. 109.19. All right, let me see what I said wrong. Also, how come y'all never give the correction? What is wrong with y'all? Are y'all at this point? I blame y'all. You could easily be like, that's not how you say their name. You say it like this. Y'all just be like, said the name wrong. Ha ha ha. What is wrong with y'all? Y'all trying to help me? Do you like our podcast? Do you like me? Then help. You took the time to leave a comment.
Help me get it right.
Put the phonetics in the goddamn chat. It's
Spell
easy.
It out.
I would like to be better at this. So what's the okay? What
I'm trying to be good at my job.
See, you didn't even know. That's why, because you ain't never heard of this Akinolu person either. But also, if I'm being fair, they don't be saying names on the African porn I watch. I told you, they don't even do the fucking scenarios. They never say each other's names. I don't know how porn work in Africa, but do y'all even have porn stars in Africa? Because, like, it's not like I can Google the person's name and be like, and let me see her other scenes. They don't even be giving people credit. It just be like sugar mama, house owner, whatever. Like, I'm like, that can't be the person's porn name.
Nope, cannot be.
Give them a porn name. Then I can be like, I would like to see the rest of their scenes.
Or they might be, and they're just like, Americans don't give a damn. You be like, well, I would like to know.
I'm just saying, it will help my algorithm to know the names. They don't even be saying the names. So how can so anyway, the point don't have names in it, so I don't know how to say the names either. So there, know it all. The girl on the other side of the road. You stay on the other side of the road. Don't come over here being highfalutin and judging. Jason says, I'm beginning to think RG3's purpose in life is to keep heat off of Mahomes. I hope he retires before we get his dairy podcast. On the bright side, those brothers have released me from the black quarterback plantation. Josh Allen's fiance was in Sinners, and that's my MVP. I told y'all, man, I've been off that black quarterback narcotic for years. No, thank you. Okay. First of all, rooting for any NFL player specifically is kind of dangerous. You got to really, really hone in on the ones who signal they down with us. Because there's a lot of brothers in that pipeline who went through a lot of conservative people to get where they at.
Yes.
Whether it be high school, junior high school, college, or the pros. So much of what they have to do in that industry to make it is just full of religion. And I mean conservative Christian prayer religion. White conservative male figures who are coaches and think of that old school plantation shit. Coaches in the college that used to be as a big thing was you can't go anywhere and I won't pay you, which is a real weird system to set up for people that are doing all the goddamn work every Saturday.
Right.
And it's very paternal. I'm gonna be these boys' fathers. Do I believe that Black Lives Matter and that anything about race? I don't see color. But anyway, Jesus, what color was Jesus? It don't matter. Anyway, I'm gonna make all the money go. So, and then of course you get to the pros where the vast majority of those rich white owners support conservative politics. So like the odds of a guy being able to survive that system, flourish in that system, become well enough known that you know his name without his helmet on. Yeah, it is extremely rare
football,
that one of those guys would not be conservative regardless of their race. So Patrick Mahomes being conservative it is only surprising in that he had a year where he talked about how being a black quarterback meant something to him. And now you look back in hindsight and you're like, oh, maybe George Floyd got killed that year and it was the wrong time to be like, I don't see color.
Right.
You know, or they just asked him, hey, you and another black quarterback, one of y'all's going to win the Super Bowl. What do you think? And he just was like, I'm not dumb enough to say it don't matter. But also, I'm voting for Trump. Mm-hmm. And I'm just not going to tell y'all.
Yep.
Anyway, he says, since it's been established that the WNBA coverage must be toxic, I think we should at least let it be covered by some toxic women. If we don't get a Stephanie A. Smith out of all this, it is a waste. Agreed. Where are the toxic women covering sports? They don't even be on TV.
No, they would never be on TV.
You know why? Because you actually have to be good to be a woman and get on TV. They're not gonna let you on TV being a Stephen A. Smith bloviating person.
Nope, you can't be incompetent, and that's the thing. When particularly in those areas, you have to be competent.
There is no sportswoman who is strictly on TV because she's just good at TV and compelling at TV. And I don't mean it the way that y'all think. Like, obviously, they're good at context, nuance, knowing stats. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being good at TV, as in I know how to make people stay watching this channel, even though I do not know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yep.
That's good at TV. Stephen A. Smith, good at TV. Skip Bayless, good at TV.
Yep.
Shannon Sharp, good at TV. Mm-hmm. They cannot know what the fuck they talking about at all, but they can turn a segment into just, I'm yelling, and that's enough for people to be like, I'm going to stay tuned. I don't think there's ever going to be, maybe I shouldn't say ever, but I know right now there are 0 women on sports TV who can go in there and just be rude and nasty to people and say all kinds of shit, cut people off, yell, and then be back tomorrow.
No, it's a double standard, and that's the truth. It's just literally just a double standard. It's like, I have a dick, so I can just do these manly things and it's quote unquote considered acceptable. If a woman does that same thing, she's a bitch, she's mean, she's inconsiderate, but I'm doing the same bullshit he's doing, but he gets to get away with it because men are expected to be asses, and I'm just expected to be nice.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like Monica McNutt can react to being yelled at, but she can't be an aggressor on there. She can't go in there yelling at people and shit. Those fragile ego men couldn't handle it anyway.
Of course not.
Finally, that gender wars was whackness. Aside from the egregious lack of subtlety, she needed to swing that camera around to her face once. No matter what she looked like, you are guaranteed at least 500 she ain't even all that comments. Missed opportunity. Correct.
Yes.
That's a good point. Even if she was just on camera for a second, people be like, ugh, he was gone. She don't deserve to be paid for nothing. She lucky she got a flight. It wouldn't matter if that woman was Halle Berry.
Agreed.
This is going to be some egg-shaped nigga judging her in the comments.
Right. Rolling down the timeline.
Looking like he just got in a fight with his barber and his hairline paid the cost. And he going to be judging her pretty ass like, I would never pay 3 cents. Have you ever paid for porn? Yes or no? 55% of people have. 45% have not. So 55, hey, that's a majority.
Yeah, at some period of time, yeah.
Shout out to our responsible porn people out here.
You used to have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's true too. All right, let's go to the next episode. But first, these commercials. Back to the show. How's my camera been looking? Has it been doing the thing? Okay. All right.
It's actually been pretty clear.
All right.
All jokes out, like it's really been really clear.
I hope so. We'll find out. We had episode 3100. 3100. Food mining. Dizzy Lizzy Girl says the kids don't drink because they are doing drugs. And Abia says drugs are not exactly cheap or free for the most part. I don't know. The kids don't drink because they're doing drugs. Here's the only problem with that though, Dizzy Lizzy Gal. They do drugs and drink.
A lot of them do.
I know my life, the drugs and the drinking been pretty hand in hand. It hasn't been like, oh, I only do drugs. I'm sorry, I will not be having any alcohol tonight. So I don't know, man. Maybe they're not doing both anymore, but
they might not drink alcohol as much.
But my guess, I would actually wonder statistically what the numbers say about drug use now. I guess it's harder to track because it's illegal, quote unquote. But I wonder if people do less drugs even. Like if we find out people just like, I can't afford to do that shit either.
Yeah, because the cost of Trump's tariffs going to affect the drugs too.
Abia says, I think younger people drinking less heavily is a good thing. Everything you said is right, but it's still good. And for people who is addicted, drinking less because of money isn't a good enough reason. They would just switch to drinking the cheapest stuff at home, or rather not eat, or make alcohol at home, or often poison themselves at it. In my old, at the time, very poor homeland, Poland, it used to be a huge problem. I remember some years ago, there was lots of talks about young people drinking way too much, and it was very concerning. I'm glad the trend changed. Also, if they smoke more weed, and this is part of the reason, I'm also for it. Weed doesn't make you aggressive, and it's less harmful on the body. I agree. Saint Agni says, hey, Rod and Karen, I 1000% agree with you on approaching bad faith, irredeemable people who just muck things up because they just want to.
Right.
I'm really glad y'all said that about RG3 and others like him. There aren't any amount of words, yelling, screaming, or written messages that you can say to any ignorant narcissist. I have those in my family, and I had to cut them off for a myriad of reasons. So I won't divulge that here, but it's simply tiring trying to prove to people that who are just that stuck to come around and see that these bad apples aren't worthwhile. Well, also a lot of times narcissists do this stuff called like triangulation. They don't treat everyone the same, and they don't treat everyone bad.
Right.
And so they'll treat the target one way, and then other people they'll be nice and try to be charming to get them on their side against the target. To be like, even this person I've taken away from you. And if people aren't aware of it, then they're a lot of times think they're being nice and peacemakers and whatever, or they're being good friends, and they just support the narcissist because it's like it's easier to go along to get along. Also, Ryan Clark said was real talk, because that's what RG3 does by making his wife into the living embodiment of my milk of magnesia. Tory Lanez has, my milk of magnesia. Yeah. Tory Lanez has been doing fuck shit, and it's just more attention minded. Same with Trump voters, non-voters, etc. Everything that has been said, and trying to reiterate the obvious just adds more depression, anxiety, and stress, etc. These people aren't even worth the time, and people have to just let them go and starve them of attention, because that's how you cut them off for good.
Yep.
Anyways, again, I love what y'all said. I found it relatable because I've been there. Peace. Thanks, Saint Agni.
So, depending on the situation and the scenario and things like that, you have to kind of pick and choose when you engage and things like that. And a lot of times I'll just opt not to engage, because in my mind I go, is it worth the energy? Is it worth my peace? Like, is it worth it? Like, and a lot of people don't ask themselves those basic ass questions. Could I be doing something more constructive with my time and things like this? Like, what is this person robbing me of? Like, people don't ask those things. And so for me, I opt not to interact, period. Like, I like a lot of times, like, put like this, or if I interact, it's something I feel strongly about, I will say what I got to say, and then I will end the conversation. Like, I'll opt when to opt out. I won't let them dictate how long this drags along, blah 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 blah, and then I eject. I don't give a fuck what you got to say after I've said what I've said, because it actually does not matter, because sometimes you do need to get things out. But the problem is, people go back and forth in the engagement, and it impacts you. It affects you, regardless of if you want to admit it to yourself or not. There's a lot of people out here lying to themselves and telling themselves they're not being impacted. It does not affect them. They can handle it. Whatever lies that you tell yourself, but your family, your friends, your loved ones, and even you have seen a change in your behavior that lets you know that you are directly being impacted by this, whether you want to see it for yourself or not.
Right. Let's see. These people aren't even worth your time, and people have to just let go and starve them of attention, because that's how you cut them off for good. Anyway, again, love what y'all said. Found it relatable because I've been there. Peace. Thank you. Evie. Oh, and then, man, I guess I was wrong, dog. I really thought RG3 bringing up his wife Ryan Clark bringing up RG3's wife was totally in bounds and totally germane to the point, and I did not think it was attacking her, any of that stuff. But I did see Ryan Clark went on Twitter and on his podcast and issued an apology to RG3's wife, and I really am disappointed in some ways, but I can't be but so disappointed because I predicted that he would do it. Not directly in that way. What I predicted was, I said, I can't really go up for Ryan Clark too hard, because he is the type of person who will apologize or have RG3 on his podcast at some point to be like, hey man, it was just a misunderstanding. We're all good people, and it's all about peace and love and whatever. And the reason I say that is because I thought he stood up for Black women, made a very good point about what Andrew Schultz said about Black women gonna beat you and all this type of shit. And he called out, shits and gigs basically by being like, y'all just let that man sit up there and say that. Then a few months later, Ryan Clark has Andrew Schultz on his podcast. And I really, really thought it was a bad look for Ryan Clark. Because he sat up there, and look, he's a man, and if he feels it wasn't a bad look, he can stand in that, and that's his integrity. But you sat up there and softballed that dude for basically an hour by the end, and fully cognizant that by the end it was just going to look like you letting him on your platform like it's all good. And at the end, they were laughing and joking about bullshit. And so it makes it seem like that original stance of like, yo, what you did was fucked up, doesn't stand. Now y'all are just friends, or it was just a misunderstanding, or hey, my heart, I'm a good guy. I won't be shocked if we looking at RG3 on his podcast, The Pivot, for Ryan Clark. I would not be surprised if we're a few months away from they cool. And a lot of people in the industry would like them to be cool, because they don't, as much as they talk that shit, man, those the media people are as, if not more, but they are just as quote unquote cowardly as the athletes. They always denigrate about not speaking up and saying shit because they don't talk about their own business in public like that, not to other people. You know, like they privately, the group chat, whatever, but they don't take stands against this shit. They know certain people as coons in their industry and they don't say shit about it. They don't dare call them out. You know, it's professionalism then. It's all common courtesy. All the go along, get along shit, you know, that comes up. And I'm sure Ryan Clark got hit up by many people telling him to just, hey man, I know you got a point. I know what you're trying to say, but look, man, you shouldn't have brought up that man's wife. You know that, and so he's apologizing on behalf of that. And a lot of those dudes are RG3 types. I don't mean that they're as vocal and trolling as much. There's a lot of those dudes that are NFL guys, athletes who are married outside their race, but participate in the denigration of black women. I remember seeing videos. There was 3 NFL players at the time, and there was a video of them with their white wives making jokes about black women over brunch. And it was like, there's no black women here. Why are you even shitting on black women? So your choice isn't, I'm with you because you're white, but that's not why I'm with you because I love you. It was, I'm with you because white is better than black. That is a fucked up thing. And as someone alluded to earlier, what kind of woman even wants to co-sign that?
Right.
But yeah, anyway, I'm not surprised that Ryan Clark issued an apology. Let's see. Evie says, my heart goes out to Megan Thee Stallion because I can't imagine how how it'd feel to constantly see so many bottom feeders like that congresswoman trying to gain clout off of my tragedy. I bet that congresswoman can't name a single Tory Lanez song. Most of the people shouting free him don't give a damn about him and his music before this incident. Funny enough, just before Chris Brown got arrested, he posted free Tory. Drake posted free Tory and Kendrick destroyed his career. It would be funny if that congresswoman doesn't get reelected because if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Abia says, as far as I know, JoJo Siwa identified as fully gay before, and now she is with a man. That's why people care. But I don't judge. She's 22 and now experimenting with dick. Not a crime. Big Bang says, unrelated, but I have a question. Is it me? Or when I see post-production photos of the Sinners cast, I feel like someone's missing. Then I realize Michael B. Jordan plays 2 people.
That's hilarious.
He was that good. Laurini says, Karen, we can all relate to your banter. It must be a STL only term, but growing up, we called it bougetto, like bougie and ghetto.
Oh.
I know people are hesitant to use ghetto these days, so maybe it's right to rebrand it to basic bougie. LOL. Yeah, I actually put this new design in our Teepublic store. Oh, not Teepublic, it's Dasherly now. But you can always find the link in our show notes for our Dasherly store. But I put a new design in there that was called Basic and Bougie. So you know, people can see it there. I'll show you guys on screen what it looks like. And we do have a sale going on right now for Memorial Day. So if you did want to get some merch, now's a good time to get it. Just because you can get that sale going. But here's the basic, like it says basic and bougie right here. So, you know, guys, take advantage of the sale is my point. Get it while it's hot. Okay. It doesn't have to just be a shirt. You can get it on all kinds of designs. You got mugs,
stickers.
What are these? I don't even know what you call it. Tank tops. Yeah, I was about to say wife beater like a dumbass.
Right, because it's kind of
grew up in a different era, guys.
Yes, we did.
Oh, they got hats on here now. Oh, that's dope. Yeah. So anyway, you can get all kinds of gear from the Blackout Tip store. Let's see. Then let's get into the YouTube comments. Damien says, damn, you could play the Rod Was Right theme song this whole episode. The girl on the other side of the road says, JoJo Siwa was a big child star. She was selling accessories as if they were drugs. Last year, she came out as a lesbian. Everybody was rooting for her. Then she released a very bad song and she was dancing like Chris Brown. So people were there to laugh at her, but the song became big on TikTok, and she thought she was the first gay star and started acting like she was the leader of the rainbow community, which was camp and fun.
Oh no.
However, it ended when she went on this British TV show. At first, there was this man who told her that if she stayed on the show, he'd make her gay no more. Of course, people were mad and got her kicked off the show. However, he was kind of right, as people noticed that she and this other guy, the one in these pictures, were getting too close. So for sure, no one liked that, especially when there was a black woman at home preparing for their wedding. Oh God. So now everybody flipped on her, and to make it worse, she's bi now, which is worse because gay and straight people don't like them. Damn. Well, thank you, girl, on the other side of the road.
Keep us informed.
Unlike you not telling me how to pronounce that African name, you made up for it with this comment, because I don't know any of this stuff.
Nice way to come back.
I don't know anything about this stuff with this white girl. Rod, you preached a sermon today, says Donatello. Christoph says, ain't he though? I'm gonna put something extra in the offering plate for good Rev Rod. He did too. He did. He gave a one-time donation today. Wow.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I had that had been on my mind for a minute. The food mining idea. Christoph says, at the 106.26 mark, Karen and I both laughed in unison at Cricket Wireless. That was a good one, sir. Thanks. See, Nathan says, they are trying to get black people in the street protesting by any means necessary. I wouldn't step foot outside my bedroom for little Tory. Yeah, I'm definitely not protesting. If you go leave your house to protest for Tory Lanez in 2025, you don't have real problems.
You sure don't.
You need more problems in your life, because that's crazy.
The tariffs need to go up. Something need to happen in your life, because you don't. Yes, what's happening over there?
Jason says, okay, let's be real. 90 dudes in an hour means some of those brothers finished before they even started. That Tory Lanez story is wild. I know that when I was young, we had a tendency to always defend the black man because we knew one day it could be us who was falsely accused of doing something horrible. But this seems like people defending the black man because they know one day it could be them that does something horrible. They don't want justice for Tory. They want immunity for themselves.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and a lot of people try to fight you against that, but it's like, you don't actually have to defend. Like nobody's forcing you. Nobody's making you defend
what?
Like Tory Lanez, like, you know what I'm saying, like they were saying you're actually defending, and then when people come out, they was like, well, what are you defending? And a lot of times, because when you talk to them, you like, you don't do any of this, like I don't understand. Well,
that's the assumption, is that you don't do any of this, but I don't know.
Agreed.
I don't know.
Agreed.
I don't know what I still feel the way I feel about the privilege of being a man amongst black people can be very destructive to our community, and it doesn't have to be. And I'm not saying it always is. I'm not a masculinity is bad type of person, but it's just like, if you're not gonna use it for the right shit, it's bad. If you're gonna weaponize it for just shit like defending Tory Lanez or worshiping people that are horrible towards the rest of our community just because they happen to be black men, that's a bad thing to do.
Yes, and it is.
I'm never gonna feel bad about pointing that out, and I don't care if there's some brothers that don't like it. I don't care. Fight me. I'll whoop your ass. Then you'll be like, oh, I guess this masculinity is weird. I don't know. I'm just saying. It just feels kind of whack to me. You think I'm soft? I think it's soft to be like, it's okay to shoot a woman in the foot because you didn't like something.
Right.
I think that's soft. I think it's soft to hit a woman. So it's not like my masculinity is coming from this like elevated place of such progressive fairness, and I don't even see or understand any of this gender role stuff. I'm beyond that. It's not even that. I just think you a bitch ass nigga if you do that. That's it. Like, it's no textbook to be written. It's not coming from bell hooks. It's just me as a human being on this planet that grew up like you grew up as a black man. Defending Tory Lanez to me make you look like a weak ass individual.
Right.
That's it. It don't even have to be complicated.
And
I didn't get this from, a political rally or picket a protest sign. I got this from just growing up and being like, you're not supposed to put your hands on women.
Right. And when I look at you, I'm going, you put your hands on women too. Because it's like, why do you go
that
so
was the
hard
thing. You
just
said, well, you don't even do that. Why are you defending it? And I'm like, I don't know that they don't.
True.
I think there's a lot of people that this type of violence within our community And I'm not saying within our community as in this is germane only to black people. I mean in everybody's community, regardless of race. Violence of this nature can be extremely covered up. So you have people that do abusive shit, but there's shame attached to it for the victim, shame attached to it for the people that know the perpetrator, shame attached to it for people that know the victim. Lots of misogyny, blaming of women, all kinds of stuff is happening. And so a lot of this is covered up, meaning I would love to assume some of these guys are misguidedly defending Tory Lanez and they never put their hands on no woman. They never would do no shit like that. And I hope that's true. But I don't know that that's true.
Agreed.
Because you know who won't be defending Tory Lanez? Me. And I can only vouch for myself because I don't know the rest of you niggas. But I ain't never put my hands on no woman. Period. I once got punched by my cousin's girlfriend who was a 6th grader when I was in 3rd grade.
Oh.
And neither one of us put our hands on that woman. She was a girl, but still, the point being, she was bigger and stronger than us. So I pretended that it was chivalry as I laid on the ground, crying tears.
I ain't gonna lie. I did beat up a little boy one time on my cousin's behalf. He wouldn't leave my cousin alone. And child, I can't fight worth a damn. This is why I'm calling. This to today, I'll just call the cops on you. But he kept missing my cousin's child. So I did the little windmill where you do your one arm in front of the other till he finally left alone. I had him in the corner crying. Was it wrong? Yes. Did he leave my cousin alone? Yes.
I'm just saying. I don't even have it. Don't, to me, it's not a feminist, woke, whatever value that I'm even, when I'm talking about that, it's not even, it don't have to arise to that, which is why I find it weird that it's become the culture war of the internet, because it's not a political thing for me. The people I know in my life would think you whack for doing that shit. I don't know why once you run to the internet, people try to normalize it unless they're participating in this and they think it's fine. Anyway, and I don't care how the vote turned out. There's a black man problem in the political space. Sure, 77% of the ones who voted correctly, but I really need to know how many were okay with staying home. And part of the problem is all of the prominent brothers who speak out are on that MAGA. The ones who aren't are quiet. That's why it's so easy for people to buy the idea that Trump's black man support is high. Yeah, but we have to stick to facts though. Like because and this, this part is germane to how I talk, and I want to make sure that I talk this way because I don't like the Obama talk shit that isn't, because it's not fair. So if the numbers that we do have is 77% voted Democrat, that doesn't necessarily mean that 77% of those black men aren't misogynist. Like that might be where you fucking up, is thinking like, well, we voted Democrat, why are y'all on Tory Lanez's side? Those are two separate things. Mm-hmm. But the other part of it I would add, because voting Democrat doesn't make you progressive. You just voted Democrat. It could be a large spectrum of reasons. But the other thing I would say here too is like, I don't like to give in to this idea of like these facts and these numbers don't matter. That's all. Just keep it. Let's keep it a buck. The information we have is this. And I know the feeling that you're having, because I have this feeling too, but I have to push back on my own feelings about this because it's not fair, which is, it feels worse to me to see a black man participate in any level of bigotry. And it feels worse to me to see a black woman participate in any level of bigotry. And mostly because I know that they do understand what bigotry feels like on the other side.
Right.
And no, they might not feel it in every single area, but I know one area they do feel it in: blackness. It's the reason that we look at RG3, or even when like Stephen A. Smith is, aligning with certain white points of view. It's why we feel a level of betrayal and anger that we wouldn't feel necessarily for someone that was not black, that we kind of almost expect it from. I'm not saying it's right, but that's why I had to push back on it, because I can't say that it's right for me to feel more strongly and be like, not even one black man should be with Tory Lanez. Like, okay, calm down. Statistically, that's impossible. Like, then you just want to be mad. Dummy, right? You woke up and you just want to be mad. The other thing I would add too is, I don't do the back and forth. And I can tell from the way y'all write and, obviously our podcast, you contribute to it online. You see it online. You're on YouTube. You leaving comments. You're on social media. I am on social media and all the platforms and apps. I do not. I refuse to sully myself by participating in these fucking what I consider to be fool mining expeditions.
Mm-hmm.
They are just searching to see who are the foolish people amongst us who are going to be like, I hate women so much, I will say Tory Lanez needs to be freed. And some people let you know. Chris Brown let you know he one of them people. All kinds of rappers coming out the woodworks, letting you know. Athletes come out. Drake letting you know. And to me, I see them as fools, and I refuse to involve myself in any conversation with directly or indirectly with them.
Agreed.
So sometimes I may be feeling like I am devaluing how serious an issue is, and that might be true. Because I think when you're online, you end up over-indexing the conflict. So I don't know that it is a high percentage of black men who agree with this Tory Lanez shit. I don't even know if it's a prominent percentage of black men. Like when you say like these famous guys that are MAGA, they sure have a lot to say. Right. But that don't make the rest of us MAGA. So I don't go by that. And I think that's what happens when you're online consuming that much content. It warps your reality. And now you're in this new reality where, man, black men have a real problem. No, we really don't. That's not more than we had any other time. There's a quarter of these fools who will support bullshit. And a lot of them talk loud and get attention and make money off the content. So there's an incentive for them to be loud. There's no incentive for me to loudly, vociferously come on here and tell you the status quo is good, or, hey, man, maybe don't beat women. No one's going, this clip ain't going viral. You see our numbers. No one's signing up to listen to Black Guy with Tips because I be on here talking sense. It's not how that works. So please don't do that. Is all I'm saying. Don't give them that. Fuck those guys. They don't represent most of us. All of us, or even a significant portion of us. They represent a part that matters, and I'll never run from that reality. But I'm not gonna give them black men or pretend that like, man, this culture war really is from 50-50 shit. No, it's not. And of all the men, unfortunately, you're still gonna find out that black men are probably the most progressive of the men, which is a sad state for men. Is what it says, because the bar is very low. But of that bar, we are clearing it by the most people. Sorry. The poll: automated food taking orders or automated fast food order takers. Yeah, yay or nay? Karen?
I don't like them.
Okay, nay. 77% of people, or 67% of people agree with you. 33% of people say yay. I'm on the yay. I like the yay. I like it. Why are we pretending? I don't need you to be a human, and I don't want to get shot.
I know eventually, as technology changes, I'll be forced to. I get that. But, it's just something about that human interaction.
You know what the robots never done? Took offense.
True.
Okay. Well, I was like, hold on one second. I need to. What you mean, hold on? Oh, God, I'm going to get shot for sauce. Nope. No, thank you. All right, we're about to go do the voicemails.
If that's happened, there'd be no more minimum wage.
I would love the world with no more minimum wage, just like I love a world with no more tipping. I don't care that I'm making money off of it. All right, let's get to the voicemails. But first, all right. 2 voicemails this week. Let's go to the first one from Blue Wave Rider.
They didn't hear the voicemail.
Oh, I forgot y'all can't hear this when I play it from the. God damn it! Hold on a second, everybody. Give me a second. My bad.
Mhm.
And for those listening on audio, I'm sorry. I'll have to end up replaying this. So you're gonna hear the first, I don't know, 30 seconds of this again. All right, you should be able to hear it now.
Hey, Rod, this is your boy, Blue Wave Rider. Ain't been here, ain't talked to you in a while. I've been rolling deep in them Urban View streets, and I just really listen to feedback shows and interesting episodes. But I just wanted to chime in on this recent hatred of Joe Biden. It seems like people who don't want to face the fact that they made a stupid decision and fuck the country in the process, and they don't want to admit that they're closet racist. They just want to relitigate the fact that they think Biden lost his mental capacity, and that's when everything went to hell for the Democratic Party. You know, this is just I fucked up and I don't want to admit it, so let me find a scapegoat so I can sleep better at night. By the way, you know, if you did an episode or you had some comments on David Hogg, yeah, I know his name is David Hogg, but if you have some comments if you had some on David Hogg, let me know what episode that was, because I think he was just another white opportunist trying to use the Democratic Party to build up his reputation and his street cred. And you see he got off the chain real quick, so much so they had to put his ass out the Democratic Party. So also, I'm glad you all got a new voicemail number, because I was really dreading the fact that I was going to have to sit down and compose emails again. So y'all have a good one. I will get back to you. You'll probably hear from me again 1 or 2 times before the next feedback show. Blue Wave Rider, out.
Thank you, player. And the episode you want to go listen to is episode 3096. Maybe Tory Lanez fell on 14 pieces of glass. We talked about David Hogg going on Bill Maher, and I kind of did a long thing about why I find what he did to be cowardly, and exactly, you know, how I saw it. So there you go. All right, we got one last voicemail.
Hey, Ryan, Karen, this is Carolyn.
Hey, baby.
Oops, sorry. Damn. My bad.
Hey, Ryan, Karen, this is Carolyn. I wanted to call you and tell you, one, you did. You're right. You could have lost your credibility, because the first thing my mom did was call me and was like, girl, I just met Rod. I was like, Rod from the Black Island Tip? Yes. And then she said, but all y'all that I don't do Walmart. I showed her some at the Walmart. I said, Mama, black people ain't going to Target no more. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. So you almost lost your credibility for not being at Target until I reminded her that we can't shop at Target no more. And oh, how I miss Target. But yes, you almost lost your credibility either way. But shout out, I love y'all. You know, thanks for showing my mom some love. She was excited that she saw you in real life. But yeah, all right, peace.
Thank you. Man, that's so funny, because yeah, absolutely. I 100% was like thinking about going to Target on my way to Walmart, because I was like, man, they probably not even gonna have the shit that I want. You know, they always fucking something up. You know, don't, and then, you know, of course, like Target is like, you know, the fucking the AC smells different. You know, like everything in Target is just a little bit better to me, a little cleaner, a little better clientele. You feel like you're shopping up, not shopping down. Okay. And I went in at Walmart. I had looked up the item online. I forget what it was that I wanted.
That's electric salt and pepper thing.
Electric salt and pepper grinders. They said they had it. They said what aisle it was on, H11. Same Walmart they told that towed that man's car from. And I went in there and I walked up and down H11 for fucking 15 minutes and it was not there. They did not have it. Obviously, no one came over to help me because it's not Target, it's Walmart. Okay,
they be like, "Sir, you look lost. Can I help you?"
Coming over to help me is some Target behavior.
Yes, and they even so fancy now. They have like a little pad, and they like dig into it. I've seen them tap on the pad, but okay, I know exactly where you need to be.
Yeah, so I was stuck like Chuck, man. I'm like, I went here to support the peoples, or to not support the wrong people. So I went and ordered it on Amazon, which is probably no better than going to Target in the first place. But whatever. I did what I tried to do.
Yeah, we didn't go to Target, which was
and
the
I
goal.
Stayed strong.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And it wasn't no we. It was me by myself. Meaning that I could have slid out the Target and no one would have known.
I sure wouldn't have.
Unless I happen to see a fan in there going, this nigga.
See they mama.
Which I would like to say, as I thought about it, I was like, but if you see me at Target, it's because you in there. So should I even really be afraid of coming up in there?
Did this event even happen?
Yeah, I'll just assume we both, look at each other and then don't make eye contact and pretend we see each other outside of Target sometime. Anyway, all right, we're going to get the voicemails and wrap this thing up, but, a little bit more music.
I thought we just did voicemails.
I meant emails, okay. Obviously. I made a mistake. Thank you for correcting me, Karen.
No problem.
I just want to make a show that people understand. Because how would they have understood in 30 seconds when I start reading emails? They'd be like, you said voicemail, you fucking liar. You weird, weird liar.
Yeah. Check this so fly shit out. Word up.
Psycho.
Music.
All right, that was called 1,000 Bottles by Psycho Music. WMBA, Philip Hurt, right, saying, Rod, game one, and it looks like the race war is back on. Yeah, we talked about it, player. We talked about it. You know what it is. America's oldest pastime. Black people and white people going at it. NCAG landlords and price fixing. Joseph says, hey, Rod and Karen, I hope you are both having a good day. Did y'all hear about your attorney general got Cortland management to stop using RealPage? Yeah, I heard about it. RealPage is a company that many people are accusing of assisting landlords or price fixing and the hike in rents we've seen in the past several years. And Cortland is one of those landlords. Y'all live in NC, so if y'all want it, y'all, I wanted y'all to know that y'all AG is putting in good work. I put in a link to the news brief about it below. Thanks, Joseph. And yes, we did know about it. I did mean to shout that out. And like they found there's like I think at least 4 other major landlords who are not going along and paying what they owe and promising not to gouge the rent. So like, if you're not with Cortland, you in trouble. It's crazy.
Right.
Jay says, hey, Rod, hey, Karen, I love basic bougie. I am this. Love staying in 5-star hotels and eating a $5 Costco hot dog. Oh, yeah, $1.50 Costco hot dog.
Come on through.
Best wishes, Jonathan H.
See, that is a thing. It's like I like nice things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I thought that's why when you said it, I was like, that sounds like a thing everybody is.
Yeah, and I guess yes, but I was like, was there a word? Because I didn't know of a common word. It was like
basic and bougie sounds. I mean, I hope it's not copyright or something, but yeah, go get you a shirt, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Where my basic and bougie people at? I know it's a lot of us.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, says Stephanie J. I always wondered when Bernie Sanders would let his mask fall. I remember a black student asked him what we should do about police brutality, and that man told him to listen to the police. Dang.
Woo.
Come on, man. I remember that too, but damn, that you went in the vault for that. You found maybe you're pettier than me. I don't know. She was like, what about that? Remember this? He's continuing this I was robbed bullshit. I will say this about Schwartz podcast. I don't remember that man's name, the comedian Schultz. name, and I'm not gonna sully my computer looking it up. He really has a gift of bringing out the real faces of his guests. The two black Brits, I'm sure they still exist somewhere, but we saw their true selves then too. These left-leaning white people are just like the Republicans to me, but wrapped in a universal healthcare cloak. They are the better races. We just have to get behind them so they can lead, because we're too stupid to know what's going on. They wouldn't mind throwing black people under the bus as long as they get what they want. Yeah, and I think black people have been burned so many times by that New Deal bullshit that a lot of us are just like hesitant. If we have our choice, we're not gonna go with the person that we think would obviously throw us under the bus. But I don't think any of us believes that in general whiteness is beyond throwing us under the bus. None of us thinks America is beyond throwing black people as a whole under the bus. But I just think we would like to go with the least likely person to do it if we have our choice.
Right. If we have our choice.
They keep talking about class issues as if the race stuff doesn't supersede that. Yeah, that was a big tell for me. I guess they've just stopped pretending, but they used to do a lot of, Bernie used to do a lot of, you bring up something about race and he's like, class is the real issue. Let me tell you how. And now he's doing this like talking about DEI and stuff like that. And it's sad, really. That part is sad because like you'll say anything depending on the room you're in. Because if you was in a room full of black people, you would not be saying that shit about no anti-DEI sentiment. These people aren't allies. They are a hindrance. They want their way or nothing at all, because at the end of the day, they'll be fine because they know whiteness protects them, or they'll go back home to their conservative parents and vote just like them. So many people are unwilling to just do the incremental changes, i.e. voting for the damn lady, something that black folks have been doing forever. I remember that episode of Family Guy when Peter and Cleveland were playing Black Monopoly or something like that. And Peter pulls a card and it says, for whistling at a white woman, go to jail. And Peter says, does anybody ever win at this game? And Cleveland says, oh, you don't win. You get a little closer each time. I always think about that. P.S. I hope that book by the CNN guy about Biden goes double paperclip, Stephanie.
And shit, it might. The way he been begging for people to buy it.
Appreciate everything you said, Stephanie. Agree. Celeste says, hi, Rod and Karen. I hope y'all are well. I really appreciate this episode, Fool Mining. I like the term fool mining because it captures a key fact about human nature. Sometimes we're just on some BS. That there's a part of how we view information, take in, rework it to fit something that works for us in that moment. It can be for psychological, emotional, practical, conscious, or unconscious reasons. And it takes a human who is willing to do the hard work to look at oneself and what they're thinking, feeling, and acting on to evaluate the good, bad, and ugly about those things. And honestly, it is amazing that humans have survived this long because it's not easy to really do, and so much is set up to not do it. I know that I made mistakes in looking at which voices I thought were doing that and now seeing they were on some stupid shit all along. But for a time, I thought they made sense. Even with all the tools and insight I think I had, I still got.
Yeah, everybody.
We all get got.
Yes, everybody gets got. Mm-hmm. But everybody wants everybody else to think that they're above getting got. And that's not true.
Facts. My worry is and hope is that enough people are going to see what's happening as far as the impact of this administration and at least start the hard work of repair. It's not going to be easy because from what I'm seeing, white liberals are as delusional as the conservative folks. They fall for the fool minded just as much.
Right.
Yeah, the social media shit is a problem. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know because this tool has been weaponized so hard, and the people that are running it, even when you openly know their bias is like white supremacy, all you can do is run to the next platform before some white supremacist buys that or the leanings of the people that own that come forward too, because a lot of the money that runs the stuff at the top is not money that's concerned with anything happening for black people, let alone other women and stuff like that. You know, they, in their minds, free speech is you as a woman should have to listen to being threats of sexual assault, and it's that person's right to make it. And if you say, hey, that guy's an asshole for saying they would sexually assault me, well, hey, that's freedom of speech. I'm letting both of you say what you want to say. That's how they look at it. And when they crack down on shit, remember how Facebook was kicking people off for saying stuff like men are trash or something like that, because whether it was a statement about, you know, patriarchy, it didn't matter. It's just like all of it has to go if any of it has to go. So it's just tough. Anyway, when I see them climbing those Capitol walls, and I know that they are, then I'll know they're serious. Until then, it's build, repair, and protect on the local level as much as possible. Yeah, I don't have as much hope about them repairing. I truly just think shit got to get so bad that they will just vote a different way. And I will never again. And I think this is a huge problem that we always have in this country with the mass of people that we call white in America. We give them too much credit whenever they choose self-preservation.
Mm-hmm.
We act like, oh, because they learned that racism is wrong. And I'm like, we don't know that.
No.
What we do know is that the economy got so bad under George Bush that they went, let's go with Bill Clinton. That's what we know. Mm-hmm. We know that the other George Bush fucked up the economy so bad with not just Wall Street, but car manufacturing, that they were like, I don't know, maybe this black guy can fix it.
Agreed.
And that was only after John McCain was like, I will let the auto companies in America go out of business, and that's the only reason that we got Barack Obama.
Yes.
So
they was like, what?
Yeah. So I don't know that this country is learning all these lessons. When people say like they went from Obama to Trump, I don't say that's because they had learned not to be racist, and they're now voting for Trump for a different reason. No, I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Also, I just started a new book, Bibliotherapy in the Bronx by Emily Rumble LCSW. Is a great so far. She was a guest on Therapy for Black Girls podcast. It was a great conversation. You both may want to listen to see if you want to check out the book. Take care, Celeste. Thanks, Celeste. You have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you. That's everybody's emails and all that feedback. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for listening. Those watch live, appreciate y'all. Hopefully the everything was good on the internet side of this.
It was. You look really good this time.
Well,
like
I try to keep myself up.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens. If if this works out, we may have to do them all from the Wi-Fi only for now. All right, until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Peace.